On Saturday, Air Force beat University of Las Vegas, better known as UNLV, 48-14, but did not complete a single forward pass all day. Wow. Combsy, hit the intro.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new merchandise page. We got the original Man Hour logo there with the image, with the crown on it, with the microphone on it, looking all clean, looking all fresh. We got the Beastie merch. We got the What Would Buck Say merch dropping this month. That's right, December. The month of December, we got new Buck merch dropping. Team Buck, What Did Buck Just Say, and What Would Buck Say shirts dropping here December 1. Overall at manhourradio.com. You can still use promo code BEASTIE for the next couple days to give yourself some Cyber Monday, some Black Friday, whatever you want to call it. It's 20% off, guys. So manhourradio.com, check it out. Beastie merch is over there. A Man Hour logo t-shirts over there. Also, Takeaway 22 merch is over there as well. So Takeaway 22 merch is very near and dear to my heart, and Combs and Tories as well, because we have all been affected by the 22 suicides a day that happened in the armed forces. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, head over to manhourradio.com, or actually go to youtube.com/manhour. Link is in the description for the Takeaway 22 shirts, and it explains it all there. All proceeds or all profits from that shirt go directly to a nonprofit organization that helps military people with PTSD, feeding them, and just things to that effect. With all that being said, guys, we do have a great show for you guys lined up for you. We're going to talk some Rams and Packers. We're going to talk about Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. That was a barn burner of a game last night. We're also going to talk a little bit about CNC, the Chargers. We have a lot of NFL guys to get into tonight's show here. We do see people popping up in the chat. I see Drew. What is going on? And Drew says, "What the buck?" Yeah, we definitely have some What the Buck shirts coming in as well. So pretty excited for the Buck merch to drop. We had the Beastie merch drop. Brandon had his own person make his merch. This is all merch coming from straight from my dome. So it's probably not going to be very good, but guys, bear with it. It is what it is. So if you guys haven't done so already, consider liking liking the feed that you are watching, and share this with a couple friends as well. If you're on 313 The Flash, big shout out to you guys for checking us out. Also, Northwest Streaming Sports as well. We are live up there as well. And also starting January 1st, actually whatever that Monday is, I think it's January 3rd maybe, I'm not for sure, because New Year's Eve is on Saturday. So yeah, the first Monday of January, guys, we will be on Roku TV from Moving Out. So this live show that you see right here will also be on Roku TV at the same time and location. So if you guys have Roku TV, check it out. Give us see what you guys think over there. But of course, we love everybody over here at youtube.com/manhour. Also, big shout out to 96.1 Big X Sports Radio right here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. We are live on there every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. East Coast time. So I see Alpha Rob jumping in. What's up, Alpha Rob? And Drew, what's going on, Drew, as well? So guys, before we get into it here, we have started the behind-the-scenes footage again here. So if you guys want to see what happens during the break with myself and Combs, and we bring guests on and we chit chat during the break as well, you know, you have to become a member. So you simply become a member by clicking on the join button. 99 cents gets you access to that once a week. $2.99 is a couple times a week. $5.99 and $9.99 deals is all week long, plus the after hours footage and free t-shirt and hoodie after 6 months of being a part of the thing as well. So One Pride 40 says, I've always felt they were overrated, and I believe he is referring to the Rams guys, and that is exactly where we are going to jump into right here off the bat. So as you guys know, the Packers, they laid it to the Rams per se on the scoreboard Sunday. They did win 36-28, but the Rams kind of scored late to like make it not so miserable, right? Like I believe at one point it was like a 17-point game, and it was definitely in the hands of the Green Bay Packers no matter what. There was no real flow, no real threat from the LA Rams to really make that comeback per se, right? And so many people are saying, are the Rams overrated? Or are they just in a slump? Or what exactly is going on with the LA Rams? So you guys, as you guys know, right here on Man Hour, when it's just myself at Man Hour Buck on the old Twitter machine, guys, I keep it to you guys live, raw, and uncut. That is what I'm all about. No sugarcoating bullshit at all. This is the way I see it. Ever since the Rams were on this Super Bowl path, you know, let's just be honest, the Rams were arguably the best team in the NFL. You know, they were scoring well. Their defense was playing well. Matthew Stafford looked like a 25-year-old Matthew Stafford running around having fun, right? And then they got a little reality check. And then they picked up Von Miller, and then they picked up Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, they are without Robert Woods, right? But there are three big things that have been glaring with the LA Rams since their Super Bowl run, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, is the simple fact that Sean McVay is a good X's and O's coach, but he is not a very good situational coach. He does not feel out the teams very, 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 very well and make adjustments to let your team succeed. So when the Packers, for example, are playing a too high safety to take away the deep threat of Odell Beckham Jr. and Cooper Kupp, why are you not pounding the rock over and over and over again? I mean, it's just Sean McVay's lack of going into a game and the ability to change on a fly, that is very suspect at best. Secondly, their offensive line has just, Matthew Stafford's getting hit a lot. So I don't know if it's because if he's hanging on the ball too long or the routes aren't coming open as quickly as they need to, but either way, he is getting hit a lot. With that being said, when Matthew Stafford gets hit a lot, he plays like dog shit. That's just the way it is. That has been his MO since his Detroit days, right? Actually, since his Georgia days. When he gets hit, he puts the ball up, it gets intercepted. Hell, look at the was it the Colts game a couple weeks ago when he threw the 2-yard pass in the end zone and got for a pick six, right? So when he gets in that flustered state, he does stupid shit. That's just the way it is at the end of the day. And number 3 is many people they have had that target on the Rams' back, you know, because people have wrote them off in the Super Bowl since week 3, right? Well, guess what? You cannot buy yourself a goddamn Super Bowl. We are seeing it right now. You can have all the talent in the world with Von Miller, with Aaron Donald, Marcus Peters, right? The list goes on that defensive side of the ball. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you have Matthew Stafford, you have Kupp, you have Odell Beckham Jr., you have Henderson. You know, they have all these weapons, but this is not the NBA. You cannot just add one piece and you're instantly better, right? It takes timing. It takes a lot of intertwining to make things work. when they signed Odell Beckham Jr., Robert Woods got hurt that same day or the very next day. Either way, this is not a plug-and-play system. It takes time to learn how to run routes. I mean, yes, routes are like routes, but it takes time to get that timing down with the quarterback. It takes time to learn the West Coast terminology or the Sean McVay terminology. It takes time to do a lot of things that I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. has the patience to do, because Odell Beckham Jr. has been this cancer everywhere he has gone. And guess what? Ever since he's been to LA, have they won a game yet? Let me think about it. I don't think they've won a game since Odell Beckham Jr. has been in LA, where they're 0-2 or 0-3, right? Is that the cause? Is Odell Beckham Jr. the cause? I mean, absolutely not. I mean, he will be on his best behavior for the next couple weeks, right? Or until the off season comes. He's like, I'm the number one guy. Give me my money, rah, 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 rah. But the real problem in LA that many people are kind of glossing over, right, is the Matthew Stafford effect. Meaning he is a hard-headed SOB, and he doesn't know when to say, hey, I am hurt. When you look at Matthew Stafford play these last 5 or 6 games, he is not the same Matthew Stafford as the first 7 weeks of the season. Hell, he's not the same Matthew Stafford for the first 4 for the last 4 weeks. He is consistently going downhill, getting worse and worse and worse. So with that being said, the real reason why we are seeing the Rams flutter, take on water, and be a sinking ship that they are, I think because the real reason is Matthew Stafford is hurt. I don't know what it is, whether it's a hamstring or ankle or a shoulder. Hell, we just heard that Delvin Cook's been playing with a torn labrum like all season, right? So these guys are competitors. They're athletes. But you guys have to realize, Matthew Stafford took a beating in Detroit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he averaged over 30 sacks a season in Detroit, getting hit play after play after play. Hell, that famous play where he like dislocates his shoulder and he sits out a play and then comes back and throws the 2-point conversion to like win the game. Yes, all praise Matthew Stafford on that. We love it, right? We love it. But at the end of the day, you have to check your ego a little bit. Let the people know, hey man, I mean, not like the media or your people, or right, but let your teammates, let your coach know, like, hey man, I cannot complete this 40-yard out anymore. My arm is fucked up. I don't know what I did, but my arm is fucked. Let's run the damn ball some more. If he would do that, the Rams would probably be a Super Bowl favorite still. I have faith in Sean McVay that he could come into a game plan knowing that Matthew Stafford can only throw 5 to 15-yard passes and they will be successful. They have a running game. They have a defense to do so. Right now, we're still trying to push the ball down the field. We are still trying to do all this crap with Cooper Kupp and the Odell Beckham Jr. with the Y motions and Z motions and bubble screens. It's just not working. Go back to the basics. Matthew Stafford's hurt. Treat Matthew Stafford like Lamar Jackson, a trash quarterback. Let your defense win the games at the end of the day. So guys, we do have a lot of comments flowing in here. So let me get to some of these as quickly as, or as not quickly as I can, but as much as I can. Let me bring the chat over here. Let me scroll up and see what everybody. So first things, guys, big shout out to you guys in the like in the chat. Always keeping it live and like in there. And it makes my job a lot easier. When I see you guys interacting, having a discussion, asking me questions, I can answer them back. I mean, it makes for a great show. So we see Rock in there. What's up, Rock? We got One Pride, of course. We got Drew, Alpha Rob, and then of course we have some people over on the Twitter machine as well. People on Twitter, Trent, Trace, Wilman, guys, get your asses over here to youtube.com/manhour. That's where all the fun's at. So, One Pride 40 says just a tad more like grossly overrated. So me and One Pride 40 here, we have been on this Detroit Lions bandwagon, 11 wins, all season long. And I think me and this guy, I'm assuming it's like it is a guy. If you are a female, I am sorry, let me know. But I'm assuming it's a guy. We see eye to eye. We see true football. One Pride and I, we see that the Rams are overrated. Let's just be honest. You cannot buy yourself a Super Bowl. You cannot do this, and this and expect to win. You have to put in the damn work. You have to do this. One Pride 40, you are spot on. They're just not a tad overrated. They are grossly overrated, and I agree with that. The LA Rams are grossly overrated right now. Hell, right now, if the playoffs were to start today, I would have the Rams losing the first round game. I would have the 49ers and the Cardinals going further than the Rams. Like the Rams would lose the first round game. I think they're slated to play the Cowboys or the Bucks. They would definitely lose both of those games 100%. Guys, the Rams are just not that good. Let's just be flat out honest. They're not that damn good. Now, on paper, they're great. Look at the Cowboys. They've been great on paper for 5-6 years, right? Paper doesn't win you championships at the end of the day. One Pride, you are exactly right on that. Did I scroll far enough? No, I didn't. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling. So flying solo has its pros and cons because I can answer all these comments, but then I got to scroll through them like I don't have Combs talking in my ear. And then Rock says any quarterback that gets hit a lot will play like crap, Buck. So Rock, you are absolutely 100% correct. Any quarterback that does get hit a lot will play like crap. You are absolutely 100% correct, no doubt in my mind. Obviously, when you have a nice plush pocket, you can step up into it, get your arm behind it, make a nice, clean, crisp throw. You are going to have more confidence. You are going to play better, obviously. But there are quarterbacks that thrive better under pressure. Well, one of those quarterbacks being Lamar Jackson. He feels... What's the word? He feels, to me, my eye test tells me that Lamar Jackson feels uncomfortable in the pocket. He feels better when he doesn't have time to think, when he's getting flushed, right? So there are players, granted, he's not getting hit every play like Matthew Stafford is, but when somebody has to think about the game, they screw up. I'm talking like Lamar Jackson hurt, hell, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. Those are four pretty darn good quarterbacks in the NFL, and they do better when they're being flushed out of the pocket. Why? Because they don't have to. They don't have to think. They let their athletic ability take over it, and then they do better. They do well. So I do agree with you to an extent. But yeah, anytime you consistently get popped in the mouth, no matter what player you are on the offensive side of the ball, you definitely do start to get alligator arms. You don't quite hit the hole as hard. You don't want to step up in it like in the pocket. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying there, Rock, 100%. One Pride says, shoot, what happened? He says they should just draft their roster. Oh, wait, too soon. No. So if you guys don't know, I believe the Rams do not have a draft pick till 2023, if I'm not mistaken. And then that's only like a fifth or sixth round. They actually do not have a first or second round draft pick till 2026. If my mind serves me right. That is totally off the top, but it is definitely right there. So they at least have only fifth and sixth round picks for the next couple years. So yeah. Too soon. That's just plain stupid. Why would you do that? But whatever. They are in a win now mode. They're saying we must win now. We must win now. We must win now. But yeah. Rock says facts. You cannot buy a damn Super Bowl. Great point. Yeah. The only way I can say you can buy a Super Bowl is when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they didn't quite buy the Super Bowl per se, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers already had talent there. They already had Godwin. They already had Scotty Miller. They had that defense in place. They also had Mike Evans. They added a couple pieces to make them a Super Bowl caliber team. Tom Brady, Gronk, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, right? And then they added Richard Sherman, like obviously this year, which he didn't play last year. But they added pieces in the offseason. The difference between the Bucs and the Rams is the Bucs team was there all season long. The Rams the Rams team, they've only been there for a couple weeks. So what happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year? What, they were 6-4, 6-5, I believe it was, and then boom, they took off. It took them 9, 10, 11 weeks plus the preseason. Granted, there was no preseason last season. So it took them 11 games to really figure out to gel as a team. We are asking the Rams to do that in 6 weeks and then boom, go to the Super Bowl. That's not going to happen. So if this team was constructed like this at the beginning of the season without Robert Woods and with the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller, then yeah, I could definitely see them as Super Bowl favorites. But right now, no, cut it. They are out 100%. One Pride 40 comes out and says he's talking about beating in L.A. Oh, he is taking a beating in L.A. Yeah. You as a Lions fan, Mr. One Pride there, you know all about Stafford taking a beating. So, yeah. So he also comes back and says, Alpha Rob says, what about Jackson's four picks last night, but no one's saying about him and other sports media. So we will be talking about Lamar Jackson here very, very shortly as I get through some of these more commentary. Actually, I see Trent Mason. What's up, Trent? I see Trent in the chat. Big shout out to Trent, one of my former players over there at FC. Big shout out to you, man. A message was deleted by Streamlabs, so I might have to go up there and reread it, Trent. But for whatever reason, it's deleting your messages. That's kind of weird. My bot is blocking you, Trent. Oh, you said a naughty word, Trent. You can't say naughty words. Sheesh. And One Prize says no. The majority of Tampa's team is drafted. They just were added by Brady. Yeah, I think that's what I said. But so guys, that's kind of it on the whole Ram seeking SIP saga. On the other side of the coin there, Matt, the Packers, Trent, thank you for the super chat, man. Definitely appreciate that. That'll go a long way here, man. Much, much appreciated. So let's talk a little bit about the Packers before Kevin comes on here and we talk about the real bottom line with Kevo. Guys, be sure to follow him at the real Kevo, the real Kev _0 on Twitter here. So we have been talking a lot about obviously the Rams, but let's talk about the real elephant in the room, and that is the Green Bay Packers, guys. The Green Bay Packers have been on this mission. They ever since that shellacking week 1 versus the Saints, right? They have just been on. They're thinking wham bam, thinking man, bend over bad boy. I'm spanking you because I don't care who you are my daddy now. Or I'm your daddy now. There you go. I'm your daddy now. But some of the biggest news to come out of Packer camp here in the last, obviously we have the whole COVID tour, right? So for you guys that don't know, is obviously Aaron Rodgers was on COVID protocol when the Packers played the Chiefs. They played my Kansas City Chiefs and lost, but. Aaron Rodgers broke his toe during COVID, so they're calling it the COVID toe, aka he had a little bit of too many Jackson Cokes and he hit the side of the couch. Well, that broken pinky toe is bothering Aaron Rodgers quite a bit. He is on pace to have surgery on that pinky toe within the coming days. He is not expected to miss any time because they have a bye week coming up. I believe they play a Thursday night game. No, their bye week is coming up not this week but next week. So he will have some time to heal for the playoffs, right? But with that being said, guys, every time we see somebody go through a mid-season surgery, possibly miss a game or miss practices or whatever. Yes, I know he's like a 17-year veteran. I get it. But we've seen Dak Prescott miss one game, and he came back the next game was total shit show, right? A total crap hole versus the Denver Broncos. Absolutely terrible. We've seen it with Aaron Rodgers earlier this season when he came back after the COVID game. He wasn't just that good. So I'm going to propose a question for everybody out there is when Aaron Rodgers has this surgery on his toe, will he still be the same Aaron Rodgers that we have been seeing for the last 9 weeks of the season? Are we going to be seeing MVP caliber Aaron Rodgers after this pinky toe surgery? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say we will not see the same Aaron Rodgers that we have been seeing. Because whether you want to admit it or not, they are going to cut open your toe. They are going to fix whatever is wrong with your toe. It is going to take time to heal. And quite frankly, you do not have that proper time to heal. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had a turf toe, I believe, in the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game as well. And it took him all offseason up to week 11, week 12 to really come back from that injury per se. So when you go and get that toe fixed like Aaron Rodgers is going to go get fixed, we are not going to see the same Aaron Rodgers. He is going to be a little bit gimpy. He is going to be a little bit of timid, right? Like there are going to be a lot of things going along in Aaron Rodgers' head that he is just not going to be the same. So I want you guys to have a healthy discussion in the comments when we take our first break here. Does Aaron Rodgers come back healthier after the toe surgery, or does he play worse? So guys, let me know in the comments. We are up against the first break. On the other side of the break, we do have the infamous Kevo. Be sure to follow him at @therealkev_0 on Twitter machine. And be sure to follow his podcast, The Real Bottom Line with Kevo. So guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Stay tuned. welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. We have the Beastie merch dropped, and we have the Team Buck merch dropping as well. Also, the hashtag What Would Buck Say? What Would Buck Say? So WWBS shirts are out there. That's funny. BS fits my personality just about perfect. But we do have a great man lined up tonight, and that is Mr. Kevo himself. Kev, what's going on, man?
Man, what's going on, man? Just hope you had a happy, good Thanksgiving. Ate lots and lots of food. Spent time with loved ones, all that good stuff. Because I sure did. I'm still having a Thanksgiving hangover.
Yeah, so my Thanksgiving hangover was spent 10 hours in the car from Kansas back to Indiana with some whiny ass kids and a whiny ass wife. So it is what it is. So
I hope she's not listening
she always listens, man. Like, she is my right hand man. Like, she'll tell me like how bad the show is or how good the show is. So she knows what she's getting into. Okay. All right. So before we get too carried away into our segment here, the real bottom line with yourself, tell the people about yourself, where they can find you, etc.
Yeah. So as you mentioned before on Twitter machine, at the real Kev _0, podcast is at the bottom _pod, POD. We're talking about the real stuff. We're not just talking about what happened in the game last night. It's about more than that. There's so much more to sports than just like the results, and that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
So when I say we, I mean me, because it's really just me. But yeah. So come give it a listen. If you like it, rate it, review it, give it 5 stars, or don't. But give it 5 stars.
Give the man 5 stars. Come on, man.
Don't be a hater. No, for real. I really appreciate comments. It really helps me understand the audience. My audience, and it helps me move in a direction that fits the audience, because at the end of the day, if I want to hear myself just talk, I could just go do that in the mirror. I'm doing it for entertainment, and so I need to do what's most entertaining.
Right. And that's exactly what is going on over here at youtube.com/manhour. You guys are lighting up the comments tonight, and I absolutely love it. And just keep it going, keep it a healthy going conversation. Trent, refrain from using bad language, man. I don't know what you said, but you got putting time out. Shame, boss. But anyways, so for you guys that don't know, Kev is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Don't hold that against him. I'm a passive Dallas Cowboys fan as well, but he lives in North Carolina, and North Carolina has a team called the Carolina Panthers. They also have a great player, when healthy, when on the field, by the name of Christian McCaffrey, CMC for short, Mr. CMC himself, fantasy guru, fantasy god. So Kev, as you know, by now, CMC has been put on IR for the rest of the season with that nagging ankle injury. Earlier this season, he has already been put on, I don't know if he was on IR, but he did not play for 5 games with the nagging hamstring injury. So since his 2019 Pro Bowl season, he has only played 10 games with the Carolina Panthers. Therefore, he has only played 10 games with the head coach of Matt Rule. So I need to propose this question for you. As a coach, say you are Matt Rule, and you have to build this team to a Super Bowl caliber team, and you're trying to build it around Christian McCaffrey, but he is never healthy. He is never there. He's played 10 games in 3 seasons. Is it time to move on from Christian McCaffrey if you are the Carolina Panthers and Matt Rule?
So, to be fair to Christian McCaffrey, so yeah, he was on IR as the temporary IR that used to just be 6 weeks. Now it's like 3 to 6 weeks, so you can bring him back in 3 weeks if you need to or whatever. And then I feel like they expected, after beating Arizona, they were 5-5. They expected, we're gonna go beat Washington and we're gonna go beat Miami. We'll be 7-5, go to a bye week, and then we'll come back and we can go beat Atlanta. We can be 8-5, and we'll have a serious shot. And messed around and lost to Washington and then lost to Miami really bad. And it was like, now we're 5-7. Everybody's hurt at this time of year. You're 12 games in. Nobody's 100% healthy, right? I mean, everybody's hurt. Not everybody's injured, but everybody's hurt. So, yeah, he's got a nagging injury. I'm sure somebody's back hurts here and somebody's wrist hurts here. But when you see, wow, we couldn't even beat those teams. We still got the Bucks twice. We still got the Saints again. We still got this, that, and the third. And now we're 5-7. Doesn't look like the Cam Newton experiment's really working like we thought. Maybe we need to go ahead and sit down our guy. And I think that's why he's on IR, not because he's really like not able to play. I think it's because they decided, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and punt on this season. With that being said, I have a friend, a really, really good friend of mine, also a sports podcaster as well, who believes that the number one rule in football is not to pay running backs.
Facts.
Okay, so you're a part of that crowd.
Yeah, so you don't pay them, you let them work off their rookie contract for three or four years, right? And you never draft them in the first or high second round. Late second round and third round is where all running backs should be.
So, all right. So then, of course, the famous graph everyone likes to use is like the years 2010 to 2020, the Super Bowl champions, and who their running backs were. And there's a lot of like LeGarrette Blount,
Right.
Damian Williams, Ray Rice, probably the best running back on that whole list. But then, what nobody wants to talk about is like the quarterback. You're talking Patrick Mahomes, Brady 3 times, Eli Manning played out of his mind, Joe Flacco out of his mind. You got Drew Brees up there. You got Aaron Rodgers in there. You got Peyton Manning in there. And so it's like, yeah, don't pay running backs. Sounds good, but you can't get away with not paying running backs if you don't have a good whatever. And so right now, the Panthers don't have a quarterback who can elevate their team. Their defense is good, but their defense, I think their defense is better than even they played the last couple of weeks. But as the season goes on, as there's wear and tear, as you have to hit the Zekes and the Derrick Henrys and the whoever else all season, you get tired, you get a little bit slower. Yeah, you miss more tackles, you're not as crisp, you make more mental mistakes. And so they don't have a Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, or Iron Curtain, Steel Curtain defense. And they definitely don't have any of them quarterbacks, Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's,
right,
on their roster. So right now, when you don't have the other things in play, you can pay your running back. Now, when his contract is up, I would hope that they've addressed the quarterback situation to where they at least have something in the future. And then, now you can let him go and work with your quarterback on a rookie deal. But right now, if it was me, I'm not getting rid of Christian McCaffrey for what? What am I going to get? What can I give? What can I get from McCaffrey that is more worth in the short run or long run than what he gives me today?
How about a quarterback that can elevate the play of the rest of the team? How about
like
payroll?
Like what quarterback?
Quarterbacks that come to mind right now that will instantly elevate your team. Russell, Aaron Rodgers, a Jameis would probably elevate your team there as well, and maybe a Baker Mayfield would be a perfect placeholder too.
Okay, so here you go. Now let's go ahead and because situation matters, right? Baker Mayfield. Okay, the Browns haven't had a quarterback worth a damn in 50 plus years.
Yep.
Okay, they finally got one, even though he's not great. He's still better than they've had. He still holds the position down consistently. Do you really think they trade him for a running back when they have Hunt and Chubb? Okay?
In hindsight, no. They will not make that trade. Yes.
So Aaron Rodgers, okay, because it's also like these quarterbacks you mentioned who can elevate a team are on teams who need to be elevated as well. So like if I'm the Seahawks, why the heck would I trade Russell Wilson for again a guy who's played 10 games in 3 years, or 2 years? Why would I trade Aaron Rodgers for that when I got Aaron Jones? So I just paid what I got. So you see what I'm saying? So like I think you're talking about the Saints with Jameis Winston. Well, I got Alvin Kamara. This is where all that stuff comes in for now. He may very well end up same exact situation like this down the road.
Yep.
But this is where it comes down to like, yeah, you can say don't pay running backs, but it's like if Carolina lets him go, what does it do for them? At least paying him gave them this option that we're talking about right now.
Also, by paying Christian McCaffrey, he signed a $100 million deal, right?
Yeah, I don't know this, man. I'll look it up.
Yeah, but like either way, they have a lot of freaking money tied up in hurt player. So let's say you're paying him $100 million. He's played 10 games in 3 seasons. How is that worth your $100 million for one? The reason why they don't have a good quarterback, two, is because they had that $100 million tied up in one freaking player. That is why every time a team signs a $100 million guy, Rams, Lions, Chiefs, they're not going to be very good, in the next couple seasons because they can't sign anybody else. They literally cannot sign anybody else.
Carolina specifically is not in that situation. So his deal was 4 years, $64 million. That was like his extension.
Right.
That's $16 million a year. Okay. None of the wide receivers get paid. DJ Moore is still on a rookie contract. Robbie Anderson is the highest paid, and he gets paid the average receiver stuff. Their defense is young as all hell, right? You're talking about Jeremy Chin, rookie contract. Shaq Thompson. Like, none of these guys get paid big money. Brian Burns, it's a contract year for him. None of these guys, all their playmakers right now, like Carolina's not paying anybody but Christian McCaffrey right now. So they're not in that situation. Now, 3 years from now, fast forward 3 years from now, and you're like, oh, do we give him another contract at whatever age that is, 27, 28, 29, when now, Jeremy Chin had to get paid, J.C. Horn had to get paid, Shaq Thompson had to get paid, Brian Burns had to get paid. Like, now we're talking about, okay,
right.
But this Carolina team, the way this roster is constructed right now and their cap, they've got some of the most cap in this entire league. And the problem is, and their biggest problem right now is they are locked into Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. They picked it up when they traded for him.
Right.
So next year, they owe Sam Darnold whatever it is, 18 to 20 something million dollars.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about $34 million locked up in one season to your backfield, in which your quarterback sees ghosts and your running back's not going to be there.
So I know you as a Carolina guy. I mean, you talk Carolina sports all day, every day. So like, the ins and outs more than I do. But let's flash back to week 1 through 4 when Carolina was 3-0, looking like a Super Bowl caliber team. Sam Darnold was on this top 10 pace. What was the difference between then and now? A healthy CMC, a healthy DJ Moore, a defense that was playing that, and they had a lead. So when you have a lead, it makes it a lot easier to play, right? So what the common denominator of everything here is when Christian McCaffrey got hurt, that team went downhill. Your team is built around Christian McCaffrey that has only played 10 games in 3 seasons. How can you consistently rely on a guy that just he's there? What, 20% of the time? How can you realistically build your team, build your franchise around a player that's just not there?
You can't, and the point you're making is absolutely correct. Like, in a vacuum, Christian McCaffrey is not worth $16 million a year, right? And I'm sure it's one of those things that it's like 13 1 year, then 17, then 20.
Right? Yeah.
But we'll just say, for simplicity's sake, $16 million a year. No, he's not worth that, right? I get it. But the unfortunate part is, like, these contracts, these things like that are not in a vacuum. So we have to figure out, okay, well, like, what's the alternative? When people say, oh, fire this coach, fire that coach. Okay, that's fine. But what is the alternative? Minnesota Vikings fans want to fire Mike Zimmer for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? For who?
Yeah. What's
the alternative? So that's where it's like. And so 2 years ago, whenever he signed his extension, what was the alternative? When when the Cowboys, for instance, they fired Jason Garrett, what was the alternative? Apparently the alternative was Mike McCarthy. Is he actually better than Jason Garrett?
Hindsight, yes.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, Jason Garrett had a 13-3 season. He also had a 12-4 season. So just because they're winning don't mean, McCarthy's necessarily better.
Right.
And it's hard this year because referee officiating is just hot garbage. But find me. Whatever. They can find me if they want to. But, again, and you brought up a good point. They started out the season 3-0, and everything was clicking because Sam Darnold, when he didn't have anywhere to go, could throw it to Christian McCaffrey. The second they got out of that rhythm, the second McCaffrey got hurt the first time, is when it kind of got all hazy. But also to be fair to him, that dude is overused like nobody's business.
Right. I agree with you that 100%. Like, I believe there's at one point, was it last season, he had over 75% of the touches of the Carolina Panthers. Absolutely mind-boggling. So, like, I get it. Yeah.
But if he's making most of the money, I mean, Carolina's mindset is, well, shoot. I mean, he's making all the money. We might as well be giving him the ball. And it's like, okay, when you think of it that way, I guess that's a fair point. But yeah, like, I mean, they got all these weapons, man, and their offense is just like, they don't give their quarterback more than one place to go with the football. There's no like, all right, read this and then level it off with this. And then, like, I sit there and watch, I'll see Sam Darnold like with happy feet, doesn't know where to throw the ball. And then they go show like the sky cam, and like nobody's open because their routes were all of, 4 steps to the right and turn around. And it's like, yeah, how's any quarterback supposed to be successful? They have no offensive line, which forces McCaffrey to have to get the ball so fast all the time. Like, hey, we need you to go make a play. Here's the ball. And it's just kind of like all of these factors build into why he can't stay healthy.
So let me ask you this question here, because like you obviously watch the game, you talk about it a lot, so you know it. Is the Sam Darnold effect, like with those happy feet, not seeing the offense per se, is that a play calling thing? Is that from a coach's standpoint, or is that just Sam Darnold not being very good?
Now, it's a little bit of both. Okay, and here's what I'll say that. Obviously, like, play calling matters a lot. Playmakers matter. But Sam Darnold has this issue where he makes the easy stuff look hard. The checkdowns just always seem, the little like, here, dump it off right here, just always seems like, why does that look so difficult? And he comes out there and he makes these boneheaded, like, we tried to give him the excuse, oh, it's Adam Gase. Oh, he's trying to do too much. But, like, the reality of it is the kid just turns the ball over. And it doesn't seem like he's progressing. He's not developing. Like, I still feel like he's in year 2, the way he plays. And that matters as well. No real pocket presence. Like you said, the happy feet, I got to get out of here, got to get out. And then it just comes down to, so it's a little bit of both. Because if you have an offense like San Francisco, San Francisco's offense is built around, the offense gets your receivers open. Just throw it in that window. All right, now put it in that window. Someone's going to be there. If you have an offense that requires you to think, you don't have to throw receivers open. You're just throwing to a spot. They'll be there.
Yeah.
Based on the coverage. It kind of like, I think that he does too much thinking, and the offense requires him to do too much thinking and too much playmaking. Someone has got to put him in a position where he doesn't have to make the play. He's just play basic quarterback football. The way that they treat Jimmy Garoppolo, the way they treat Mac Jones, that's how he needs to be treated. And he was brought into the Jets to be the savior. And he was asked, hey, go. And he's brought into Carolina to be the guy who can make the big plays because Teddy Bridgewater can't. And in reality, someone needs to say, let's slow down. Let's start at square one, and let's do this right. The problem is he's already in year 4, and it's about to be year 5. So starting at square one in year 5 puts you behind 5 years. And everybody knows when you draft a quarterback and you miss Jacksonville, you miss Arizona, kind of got lucky. But when you miss, it puts you back 5 years. Because now you got to go be sorry again and go find another quarterback and blah, blah, blah. Jacksonville missed with Blake Bortles, put them back 5 years until they finally got Trevor Lawrence, that sort of thing. And so that's where it goes back to Cleveland. If Cleveland were like, well, we're going to get rid of Baker Mayfield, well, they drafted a quarterback 4 years ago that now doesn't work, and now they could have done something else and found a different quarterback in these last 5 years, but instead they're starting from square one.
Yeah, so we actually had the discussion like a little bit last night, like about how certain quarterbacks fit certain systems just a lot better, right? So we actually had a question where if you took all 5 rookie quarterbacks right now and put them all on the same team, who would have a more successful season? And that is a flawed answer, just because Justin Fields and like Trey Lance might fit the system better in Kansas City than a Jones or a Trevor Lawrence, right? So it's a very flawed question. And like, I think if you were to put Sam Darnold on any other team that is like a quarterback away, like if you put Sam Darnold on the Cleveland Browns, I think the Sam Darnold is a better quarterback. We see improvement in his eyes. Does he make the Browns better? Probably not, but Sam Darnold is hands and shoulders above better than what he is now. Do you agree with that, like, at all? Like, do you think maybe he's just in a bad system, a bad situation?
Yes, I do agree with that premise. That situation matters. Again, Mac Jones is in the most perfect situation any rookie quarterback could be in. Hey, just throw it where I tell you to throw it. Defense is going to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Just throw it where I tell you to throw it. You're good to go. Right? Justin Fields, not so much. Hey, we can't really block for you. Hey, the weapons outside, they don't really know how to incorporate Allen Robinson. Apparently they don't know how to move the pocket. I don't really know what Matt Nagy's got going on.
I don't think Matt Nagy knows what he's got going on.
I don't think he knows either, right? Trevor Lawrence is in the very similar situation that Sam Darnold was put in with the Jets. Like, hey, there's literally nothing here but you. Hey, go play, right? But if you put them all in New Orleans with a play caller like Sean Payton, and let's just say a full healthy, with a Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara in New Orleans, it's a whole different ball game. Like, some of these coaches just aren't geniuses the way other ones are. Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl with Sean McVay. Jared Goff made 2 Pro Bowls with Sean McVay. We all think about Jared Goff now. So it's just kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, I think that when you're a quarterback, when you're playing with Matt Rule, I don't really know. What is he? Offensive minded, defensive minded? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. When he was at Baylor, I mean, they played in the Big 12, so it was a lot of offense. But Carolina's biggest, strongest suit right now is their defense. What kind of coach is he? We don't know, but we know that he's not like one of these like gurus, one of these geniuses. And so you hope for Sam Darnold's sake that the Saints say, hey, you know what? What if we just give that Darnold kid a chance? Or you hope that, because San Francisco tried to trade for him.
Right.
San Francisco offered the first-round pick. The Jets said no. And that was early before, like, it got closer to the draft. But if he was in San Francisco, I think he'd be a much better quarterback. If he was in Cleveland, like you said, it's like, hey, I got 2 running backs who I can hand the ball to or throw the ball to. And then if they get hurt, apparently there's 2 more running backs that I could do it as well. I got Odell
and a freaking receiver that can run for 1,000 yards, right?
Because I'll tell you what. Jarvis Landry ain't got no problem getting open.
No.
Odell Beckham ain't had no problem getting open. And Sam Darnold, the one thing he can do that we see Baker Mayfield, for whatever reason, struggle with is he can hit open receivers. I don't know why Baker seems to struggle hitting open receivers. Like there's too many clips of him having the pot and just like, at first we thought it was Odell, but it's everybody. Sam Darnold can at least do that.
Yeah.
So, when you say, hey, don't win it for me, just focus on your specific job. Let everybody else do their job. Hey, if you're about to get sacked, just take the sack. Don't run around. Don't try to make a play. Like, just you ask him to do that, and I think then he can develop into stuff. Russell Wilson stepped into a perfect situation in Seattle. That's the kind of stuff, but it starts early. It's like with a kid. I got a baby. I got a newborn baby. If I teach my kid that he gets positive reinforcement from, well, I don't have a kid, by the way, y'all. I was just trying to set up an example. If I teach my son while he is young that crying gets him what he wants, because I know it'll make him stop crying. When he turns 6, he's going to continue to cry to get what he wants. And it's going to be so much harder to change that at 6 than it was when he was young. And it's the same thing. Sam Darnold is now 4 or 5 years in. He's got a lot of these bad habits, and it's so much harder to change it. So you really have to start from square one. And I think that he has a chance to have a career Ryan Tannehill-esque. Ryan Tannehill got a new situation, a new coach, offense that was suited for, hey, give the ball to Derrick Henry, right? You might have to make 1 or 2 throws, but give the ball to Derrick Henry. They won a playoff game with him throwing 6 passes. You see what I'm saying? So, like, maybe he gets that opportunity, and then they can go from there. But I do think situation matters. I'm with that premise.
Yeah, so there were a few comments that came up in the chat here while we were having a discussion about CMC, and I believe it was Trent. He brought up DeMarco Murray for the Dallas Cowboys And then they also bring up Todd Gurley for the Falcons as well. Like just how both of those running backs were very overused and their career got cut short, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think CMC is going to fall in that same category? You know, 5, 6 seasons in the NFL, washed up. See you later. He might jump on the Titans as like a backup.
Maybe, but not really. And here's why I say that. When you look at DeMarco Murray, they ran him into the ground that year.
Yeah.
And he was he wasn't even really a between the tackles running back. He was a between the guards. He was a pounded on you. Todd Gurley was overused in LA. He was more of a between the tackles guy, but Christian McCaffrey is so much more versatile. They like to get him the ball in space. So the overusage just comes from, the more the ball's in your hands, the more likely you are to get hurt. But it wasn't a matter of like, they're not putting him in these like, hey, we need you to go. It's first and goal from the 1. We're going to hand it to you 4 straight times. Like, they're not doing that. So I don't think that he's going to have that issue. The problem where his career is going to get cut short is the ankles and injuries, the foot injuries, because he does a lot of cutting. The second he tears that ACL, that's when it's going to be like, okay, now, or that Achilles, that's what's going to cut him short. But it won't be using it in the context that we're using DeMarco Murray and Todd Gurley, not so much. Now, if you said that about Derrick Henry, if you said that about Nick Chubb, even though they kind of run more stretch concepts, so it's really not even that with Nick Chubb. But if you said it like that, that would make more sense. Maybe even Zeke. Maybe say it about Ezekiel Elliott. That's something that could be something down the line. I don't think Christian McCaffrey will find that same fate.
You know who? If we are comparing CMC to anybody in the league, kind of have to look at Alvin Kamara, just like a tad bit, because the Saints use Alvin Kamara much like the Panthers were using CMC. Now the Saints did have that deep threat in Michael Thomas, what he caught with 119 passes like that one particular season. So it kind of took the workload off of Alvin Kamara a tad bit. But this season, we are seeing that nagging knee injury catch up to Alvin Kamara. So let me ask you this question before I let you go here. Do we possibly see Alvin Kamara getting used and abused over the next couple of seasons like CMC, and we see him, kind of fade off into the sunset?
Absolutely. And the reason I say that is because it's funny when all of a sudden all the weapons go away. Now the running backs can't stay healthy. And you're talking about, there's no Michael Thomas, and there's no Drew Brees. And it's just like, it's really Alvin Kamara, a bust out here, just like it's Christian McCaffrey, a bust. Think about, they remind me of a much newer age and a much more versatile versions of your Jamal Charleses and your Chris Johnsons.
Yeah. Right.
Super fast, super quick, twitchy. You can use them in the pass game and the run game. But the problem was, Chris Johnson in Tennessee, they had weapons, not crazy weapons, but they weren't the Saints wide receiving core. Same thing with Kansas City. So until I think they're better as pieces than as centerpieces. I think that your offense can't be revolving around them, or else you're just going to get them hurt because nobody's body is built for that. And now you're talking it's 17 games now instead of 16 games. Like, nobody's body's built for that. And yes, I do think that Alvin Kamara, it's a long-winded answer saying yes, I do think Alvin Kamara is in danger of the same thing, because that Michael Thomas situation is weird. I don't really know exactly what's going on, but like,
he wants out
for the season. That's what I think it is too.
Yeah,
and that's really scary for Kamara.
Yeah. So basically, in a roundabout way, you have defeated your own logic here, saying that running backs cannot be centerpieces on an NFL team. Therefore, you do not want to draft them in the first round or pay them, right?
Well, I didn't say you can't draft in the first round or pay them. I just said they don't need to be centerpieces of your offense.
Well, shouldn't the centerpieces of your offense be paid and be drafted in the first round?
More or less. Well, think about it. If there's a running back who's NFL ready, I'm drafting 29. You mean to tell me I can't pick him because I'm not going to get a chance to pick him in the second round at 29. So I got to pick him in the first. Like, I do think situation matters. It's less about the draft and more about the pay. And I think that if you can get good value, I think that 16. If McCaffrey's contract was $16 million a year, like that's what it was, a flat rate.
Yep.
It would be worth it. The problem is that last year I think is like 30 or something stupid.
Well, he'll
And
probably
so
end up
that's
retiring
where
or getting cut before they got to pay
It's
that.
possible, but that's where it gets sticky. But yeah, if you can get good value, you know, don't overpay. Don't pay running backs is just don't overpay running backs. Let's put it that way. Let's edit the rule a little bit. Don't overpay running backs, and you can be in good shape.
Well, I mean, if you want to go that logic, don't overpay anybody, aka Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah, that was. I understand why they did
I will
it.
answer for you as a Chiefs fan. Here, let me get my Super Bowl championship hat here, right? Stupid, completely
Well, that's the thing, though.
stupid.
One Super Bowl solves everything.
Does
You
it?
know, everything, every trade you make, if you win a Super Bowl, it justifies it. It justifies it. Like the Broncos going and getting Peyton Manning, winning the Super Bowl justifies it.
They also weren't paying him $500 million though either.
I mean, you're right, but when you win a Super Bowl, the reality of it is, like, think about this. Let's go to basketball for a second. Think about the Dallas Mavericks. You know, the last time they won a playoff series
No.
was
Was
the last
it-
time they won a championship.
Yeah, versus the Heat.
That's the last time they won a playoff series.
Wow.
That was more than 10 years ago.
What, 2009, 2010
Nobody
was
thinks
it?
about
Yeah.
that. You know why? Because they won a championship. A championship almost grants you 10 years. Mike McCarthy is still a head coach. Like, he's a head coach now because he has a Super Bowl from 10 years ago. Not because anybody sees him as this, you know, Jeff Fisher continues, and he probably is done now, but he continued to get jobs because he had some success. John Gruden, because he won a Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? Like, winning a Super Bowl just grants you like this grace. And I won't say 10 years, we'll say like 7 as a team, where it's like, okay, we won a Super Bowl, so whatever we just did the past few years is worth it. And anything we do from now is okay, because now we get 7 years worth of, well, maybe they know what they're doing. They won a Super Bowl once. So that's kind of how that goes.
All right, man.
Maybe
Well,
Carolina Panthers should win a Super Bowl.
but as always, man, thank you for joining us. You know, guys, Kev is here every Monday night here at 8:30 East Coast time, giving us the real bottom line. So before we let you go, Kev, where the people can find you at?
Find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, you know, all that good stuff. iHeartRadio. You also, if you guys like listen to Sports Talk in the morning, you can hop on WRALSportsFan.com and see some stuff that we got going on there. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at @TheRealKev_0. The podcast is at @TheBottom_pod, POD. Yeah, you know, we're just kicking it. You want to join? Shoot me a message. Shoot me a DM. They're open. You know, you want to talk some stuff for real? You think you can out debate me on something? You can try. But I'm always down to battle. So my bag is deep. So let y'all know my bag is deep. I'm not a hot takes guy. We don't do hot takes. If you got something to say, you better be able to back it up and show me why I'm wrong.
All right, man. So we definitely need to get you on with Soup Boss like at one point. But guys, we are up against the next break. So guys, sit back and and enjoy. So when we go to break, I want you guys to think about this. Leaders of the AFC North right now, I believe it's the Baltimore Ravens. They won last night 16-10. That's the topic of choice coming up next here. Are the Ravens or Browns going to make a deeper playoff run, guys? Let me know in the comments here, and we'll be right back here, guys, here on the Man Hour.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to Man Hour, guys. Michael Bakasha here with the Man Hour. Head to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page, guys. Be most inclined there. Also, guys, check out the Takeaway 22 merch that we have there, guys. All proceeds from that merchandise will go to a non-profit motorcycle organization that helps military veterans with PTSD, feeding them, finding them housing, all that good stuff. They help many people, and they are doing their best to keep that 22 away. So Takeaway 22, guys, hoodies and t-shirts, merch is at manhourradio.com. Check it out. Like I said, all proceeds to go to that foundation. All the details is in there if you guys are curious whatsoever. It is a great hoodie. It is a great t-shirt. I wear mine every chance I can get because it does support a great cause. So guys, there are a lot of comments to get through tonight, and I will be getting through those here in about a half hour. But we have to talk about a topic of choice that has been happening here in the chat here, and that's the old Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns game from Sunday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens edged them out just a little bit, 16-10, in probably the most ugliest, sloppiest game I have seen all NFL season. Now, it was still a good game. Lamar Jackson threw for 4 interceptions. Great job, Lamar Jackson. Way to be the QB number 1 over there, the best quarterback in Ohio. Congratulations. And the Cleveland Browns missed a lot of wide open receivers, and they just chose not to run the ball. What it comes down to. But at the end of the day, the Baltimore Ravens are still 8-3, leading the division. They are 5-1 at home now. So with that being said here, guys, right now the Baltimore Ravens are leading the AFC in the playoff race. They are right now. If the playoffs were to start right now, they would have the number 1 seed, and they would obviously would have the bye. With all that being said, guys, the AFC looks like, actually the whole NFL looks to be very, very, fundamentally equal here. But the AFC seems to be the deepest of all, like, because you have the 8-3 Baltimore Ravens at the number 1 seed here, and you have the 5-6 Miami Dolphins that still have the playoff chance here. So there are over 11 or 12 teams that still have a legit 10 or 11 teams that have a legit opportunity to make the playoffs. So this one is geared for the AFC North specifically. That is the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Out of those 4 teams, guys, who can make the deepest playoff run out of those 4 teams? And right now, I'm going to tell you it is not going to be the Baltimore Ravens in my eyes. Lamar Jackson is a great regular season quarterback. He does a lot of great things. That throw last night, underthrown throw to Mark Andrews, but Andrews made that one-handed flip-up catch absolutely amazing. Went on Lamar Jackson's stats. It looked as a highlight play, but let's just be honest here. If Lamar Jackson would have led him down the field a little bit, it would have been a touchdown. If Lamar Jackson would just planted his feet a little bit and hit him in stride, Mark Andrews wouldn't have had to make a spectacular catch, right? With all that being said, the Baltimore Ravens will not make a deep playoff run because of their inability to stretch the field consistently, their inability to find any groove on offense. Name me one game this season that the Baltimore Ravens have put together a complete game. Lamar Jackson has been great in halves of football, quarters of football. Not one time this season as he put a complete 4 quarters together, and that will come back and bite them in the butt in the playoffs no matter what. Now, I don't even if they were to get a first overall seed, they would not get a win. Period. Lamar Jackson just doesn't know how to win in January. Let's just be honest. Last year was just a fluke. I'm gonna go out and let him say it. Last year was just a fluke. Lamar Jackson's not a good quarterback in January in the playoffs. Great regular season guy. When it doesn't matter, he can do spectacular things. And in the playoffs, his butthole puckers and he shits down his leg. Now, let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers they have that veteran presence, and Ben Roethlisberger's been there, done that. Well, he's won, 2 Super Bowls maybe? Or what? I cannot remember for sure. But that injury bug is biting them. Claypool is out. Juju is is out. They are not using Najee Harris like they should, a.k.a. give him the ball and running him into the dirt. 30 touches like a game should be what they're doing. So with that being said, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers even make the playoffs. If they do, they're a first-round exit too. Adios, see you later. Chicka bam bam, bye-bye, Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys suck. Ben Roethlisberger is going to ride off in the sunset with his tail tucked between his legs. He's going to be patting, what's his face? Mason Rudolph. This is your team now, buddy. Yeah, good luck, right? No, they better be drafting a quarterback or trading for somebody. Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, somebody. They better be finding a quarterback because Mason Rudolph is not it at all. And then let's look at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns here. They are the most dysfunctional team that is great that I have seen in my whole entire life. Baker Mayfield is completing balls down the field, not at a very consistent rate. They totally abandoned the run last night, meaning Kareem Hunt was their leading rusher, 7 carries for 20 yards. When you're throwing for Baker Mayfield for 247, great, right? No, come on. I don't know what is going on in Cleveland. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's the Odell Beckham Jr. effect. Toxic relationship is still taking effect there. Hell, Landry Jones was even saying that he wanted out or something crazy. I don't know what's going on in Cleveland, but they might be the team to make the deepest run and the playoffs because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to show up and play lights out like they did versus the Kansas City Chiefs week 1, or are they going to play like they did last night versus the Baltimore Ravens? You just don't know. And speaking of don't know, the Cincinnati Bengals, we don't know what Cincinnati Bengals team is going to show up week to week. If you sit back and legitimately look at it, they scored, full 41 points last week, and then they barely beat the Detroit Lions or whatever it was, right? It's just it's so mind-boggling to me. You don't know what freaking Cincinnati team is going to come up. So with that being said, they'll be a first-round exit too. So out of the AFC and the CFC North, what team can make it the furthest? The Cleveland Browns, guys. The Cleveland Browns. All you Cleveland Browns haters, what is wrong with you? Baker Mayfield is the quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield has the king to the Cleveland in Cleveland, Ohio. Baker Mayfield owns Ohio. Over Ohio State, over Ohio, Tulane, Toledo, whatever. Baker Mayfield is the man in Ohio. He is the best quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, hands down. The only thing that is holding back the Cleveland Browns, to be totally honest, Kevin Stefanski, their head coach. Their lack of play calling, their lack of time management, hell, their lack of running the damn ball. You have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Why aren't you running the ball 40 times a game? Sheesh. That's all you need to do. Cleveland Browns make it the furthest in the playoffs, guys, hands down. Sorry about that. Man, my bad. So I see a troll there in the chat. Let me go ahead and block you there, Tori. Can you have $800,000 you can borrow asking for a friend? No. My account is negative $800,000. So, guys, let me scroll up here. We got about 15, 20 minutes here left in the show. I got a lot of comments to get through, guys. Thank you guys, as always, for commenting. And if we don't get to it, I apologize. I'm up against the time. But at the end of each show, usually like the last half hour, 15, 20 minutes or so, we do a section called Shop Talk. So if you guys want to ask any questions whatsoever and you want to get that question answered, drop a super chat, let us know. So we'll definitely get that answered question for you 100%. So I have scrolled up like a little bit here, and I see you guys were talking about about the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. That is a Monday night game here coming up next week. And Rock says, if Josh Allen gets a 14-point lead, it is over for the Patriots. So let me sit back and think about this. If Josh Allen gets a 14-point lead over the Patriots, it is over. Wow. So first things first is you have to score 14 more points than the Patriots, and the Patriots defense is just flat out probably the best defense in the AFC right now. Josh Allen has not seen a defense like the New England Patriots yet this season, Rock. No question in my mind. However, on the flip side of that, they do have a pretty good offense in Buffalo when they want to run the ball. They maybe have finally started to run the ball a little bit here, but I think you are right there, Rock. If it is a 14-point lead in the second half, midway through the third quarter on, let me go ahead and put some asterisks on that. If it's third quarter, halfway through the third quarter on, and Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have a 14-point lead over the New England Patriots on Monday, they do win that game. It is a lock. If it's only a 14-point game in the first half, don't sleep on those halftime adjustments by Bill Belichick and those Patriots. Bill Belichick is a great coach for a reason. But also on the flip side of that coin, Bill Belichick is a master of giving you a vanilla defense and a vanilla offense, because you guys do play back-to-back games. Yes, there's a game mixed in between there, but when you play the same team twice in three weeks, I call those back games. So why do I want to give you the whole playbook week one, but I know I got to play you again in a week and then possibly in the playoffs again? Very, very vanilla defense, vanilla offense you were going to get from Bill Belichick, so you better win by 14 points, because if you don't, something is wrong there, my man. But yeah, I do agree with you with those stipulations on that. Going through the chat here, Alpha Rob says Motor is averaging 5 yards a carry, but they don't run him enough. Yep, absolutely right. The Buffalo Bills need to run the ball a hell of a lot more. I don't know. I think I saw a stat earlier this season that they are throwing like 85% of the time. That is just crazy to me. Rock says, this is the most finesse Bills team I have seen from a cold weather team. Bills O-line are good pros and average run pros. Yeah, that is a great point. I didn't think about this, but the Buffalo Bills are a cold weather team, and you don't really see a 5 wide receiver offense up in those cold states, because of that particular, because it's cold, it's snowing, right? Yeah, that seems kind of weird to me that they are even considering, I don't know. Do you think, let me pose this question to you guys here. Do you think they are throwing the ball so much right now? Here, let me do one second. Let me collect my thoughts here. Do you think the Buffalo Bills are throwing the ball so much right now to save their running backs for the playoffs, to kind of like, give you some smoke and mirrors, because when they go into the playoffs and they pound that rock, they pound it down your throat for 30 times in a game. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing here, Rock and Alpha Rob. Maybe that is why they are throwing the ball 85% of the time, to save their running backs for the playoffs. Maybe they're thinking Mike Bell. Maybe they're thinking big picture finally. Maybe they're thinking, hey, we have this division locked up. We have the AFC figured out. Let's just play it cool. Let Josh Allen get his 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, yada, yada, yada. Then week 17, we run the fuck out the ball. Hello, boys, we here. Wham, bam, thank you, man. Fist in the booty hole, we here. But hey, who knows? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Scroll down here through the cups a little bit more. Jones is going to be in a place like never before Monday night in Buffalo. So yeah, the game is at Buffalo on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, do you think this game is bigger than the Tampa Bay game here, guys? So, I mean, yes, this is a division game. This game is for the division per se. But I think there's more television coverage on the Bucs Patriots game, and what that was week 4, week 5. I can't remember for sure. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers then are better than the Buffalo Bills now. So yeah, I mean, he's been here. I don't think he is scared. I don't think he is. His eyes are too big. Hell, he's been in a national championship game, for crying out loud. Right? I mean, no, he is totally fine. And then what did Trent say? Ravens being 9-8. Ravens being 8-3 make me feel so uneasy. So it is funny that you say that, because that's what Soup Boss was saying last night as well. He is a Patriots fan, and he says the Patriots being in first place makes him feel uneasy as well. Kind of like, hey, the mission is accomplished type of thing. We're in first place, all hail the gods, right? So yeah, I mean, definitely cannot take the foot off the brake by any means. Let's look at the Ravens schedule moving forward here, because they are sitting at 8-3 right now. Where the hell? There they are. So they are 8-3 right now. They're at the Steelers next week. They're at the Browns the following week. Imagine another back-to-back game. That's so stupid. You literally have 18 weeks to plan these games. You put them back-to-back. That's stupid. But you're at the Steelers, at the Browns, Packers, at the Bengals, Rams, and Steelers again. So I would be worried if I'm a Baltimore fan. I feel you will not walk into Pittsburgh and like a win easy, but I do think that is a win. I think you lose to the Browns at Cleveland. You'll lose to the Packers. You'll lose to Cincy, but you'll beat the Rams. You beat the Steelers. So that's only 3 more wins. So that's only 11 wins on the season for you Baltimore Ravens fans. So is that good enough for a first overall seed? We will see. The toss-up game that I have is possibly the last week of the season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that might get you 12 wins on that. A couple more comments here, guys, before we go. We are definitely up against the time here. Hoffy says, Brian Kelly to LSU. Poor Combs and his Fighting Irish. Wow, that's some breaking news. Brian Kelly is going to LSU. Wow. I never thought Brian Kelly would ever leave freaking Notre Dame, because he had it such a made there. Because wow, Brian Kelly to LSU. Guys, think about this. Brian Kelly is what Andy Dalton was to the Cincinnati Bengals and what Marvin Lewis, right? They were so happy just to make it to the playoffs. They didn't care if they lost or not. They were just happy just to be there. Like, hey, mission accomplished. We made the playoffs. And that's what Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish was for many, many years. Hey, we may not win the big game, but by golly, we can make it to the playoffs, right? We can be a 12-0, make it to the playoffs and get our ass whooped in the playoffs. But hey, we made the playoffs. We're a top 4 team, right? Come on, man. Like at the end of the day, LSU is they want to win. They want to beat Alabama. They want to beat Auburn. They want to beat Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas. They want to win the SEC. Brian Kelly will not go 12-0 in the SEC at LSU. he will not be in the playoffs his first year, right? Recruiting is going to be hard as hell. With that being said, I wonder what LSU saw in him. What did they legitimately see in Brian Kelly? I don't know. Trent Mason with another super chat. He says Scott Satterfield's dad died minutes before the U of L UK game. Wow, that is sad. That is very so. Scott Satterfield, guys, is the U of L head football coach, and anybody that has ever lost a parent or lost anybody close to you, you guys know that is very, very difficult. And then to go coach a football game, especially in a rivalry game. So Trent, like, I don't know if you know this or not, but did he know his dad passed minutes before the game, or did, you know, because because sometimes when things like that happen, they don't tell you until after the game, you know, just because they know what kind of emotions will carry on you, right? So yeah, I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. I mean, I am a Kentucky fan, but I'm also a compassionate guy, and that is very, very tough. He says, yeah, they were running out of the tunnel, and right after that, he got the call. Wow. So as you are running onto the field to play a rivalry game, to get your first 9-win season ever as a Louisville head coach, and to quote beat the big brother, right? You get a phone call saying that your dad died. Now, I do not want to take any light of the situation whatsoever, but if my parents were like, if I'm a head coach of a football team, high school, college, NFL, it doesn't matter, and they know I'm about to go play one of the biggest games of the season, and one of them just like one of my parents just died, don't call me right before the game. Wait till after the game. Calling me right then and there is only going to affect my mood and the situation. It will not fix anything whatsoever. Let me put my focus on the kids that have prepared all season, all week for this. It's just that is mind-boggling to me, Trent. But yeah, that is crazy. So one more thing here. Brock says Lincoln Riley ran from the SEC, not Brian Kelly. No sirree. Lincoln Riley said, I don't want the SEC. Give me the Pac-12, that easy ass that you just get 12 wins and you're automatically in the top 5 in the like in the poll because nobody watches games at 2 o'clock in the morning. Brian Kelly says, give me the SEC. Because he'll get fired in a couple years ago. But guys, it is that time. Have a great night, guys. And as always, guys, Man Hour Nation, rise up. See you tomorrow.